Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit True of My Chest and it's by user mainsite7738. My wife said she does not owe me sex. And she's right. She does not owe me sex just because I am her husband, but I cannot take it anymore. Sexual incompatibility is hell. I have been busy drafting divorce documents with my lawyer this week. I believe it's best if we separate because we became incompatible after some time. 4 years of marriage, both in early 30s. Hormone test came up normal. I begged her for marriage counseling with sex therapy. I did everything she pointed out. She came with other excuses. Since the beginning of the relationship, we take turns handling laundry and dishes. For the other tasks, we have our own responsibilities for different rooms and tasks. It is not in the sexual department as well. She does not seem to be having non-sexual intimacy either recently. Countless discussions and nothing in the end. It was not like that in the beginning, so I'm not sure what happened. Marriage counseling and sexual therapy did not work either. She seems happy in the relationship and daily life, but I am not. We had sex only 2 times since the beginning of this year. She mentioned we should start trying having kids at the beginning of this week, and I got annoyed. What am I? Something kept for only breathing? I will give her the divorce notice documents next Monday, and I am not torn the relationship will end like that. I'll also leave the house as soon as possible. However, I am sure I am doing both of us a favor in the long run. We should separate before having kids. Just wanted to vent and get an opinion from a neutral point of view. Well, OP, with the information that you've shared in your post, my opinion is that you are doing the right thing. I mean, you've tried everything, but you guys are definitely not compatible, as you say. You've tried talking to her, you've tried going to therapy, and I think it's a good thing that you're actually saying no to having kids right now, because that would never fix a failing marriage. And even though it is kind of sad because of the amount of time that you guys have been together, you are doing both of you a favor. Then each of you can follow the life they want to lead. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's go check out the community comments. Mem2100 says, the marriage is dead, mainly because you are seriously unhappy and she seems to have responded by developing a plan to lock you in place. She isn't trying to make you happy, she's trying to imprison you. Since you don't have kids, you aren't hurting anyone. Clearly, she doesn't think of you as a sexual partner, which is bad for both of you, and she doesn't respect you enough to even tell you what is going on. Do not stick around if she suddenly has a change of heart. A marriage where sex is used transactionally to avoid divorce is torture. In your next relationship, make sure there is good communication about turn-ons and turn-offs, and read a book or 3 on the subject of long-term sexual relations. Ill-Faithlessness4731 says, if counseling and talking directly with her about your frustrations didn't work, I stand behind your decision. Having intimacy differences is a huge problem in a relationship. For me, it's hard to understand how people don't want to have sex, especially with their partner that they love and are attracted to. Hope things work out for the best. And Para la Calle says, that's crazy that she's considering having kids with you and you were considering divorce. 2 people living together, yet so far apart. Additional information from OP's comments. First 2 years it was good. It's not that I woke up now. I just tried to fix it and changed it for 2 years. In the end, nothing worked and I decided to divorce. It is obvious the resentment would grow even more in the future. Having a child in that environment would be such a cruel thing to do. I told her that I would consider divorce in our last talk, but she did not even believe it nor took it seriously. Also, I do not believe people should stay in a miserable position in any part of their life. Everyone has a right to leave and choose better for themselves. The house is not ours, we're on a lease. We had to move to a different city due to my wife's job and we're staying there. I'll move back home to my city to live in my premarital house, on my sister's name right now. My lawyer told me it's okay to leave after filing for divorce. So the community totally backs OP, and why wouldn't they? It's the sensible thing to do. And it sounds like OP's got everything worked out. So let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. She got the notice papers this Monday and was shocked. I explained to her in detail and thoroughly why I came to that decision. I pointed out every previous discussion we had, how there were no efforts from her side and we are simply incompatible in the end. There was crying and arguments again. I also told her I would be going back to my hometown to settle in my premarital house. It was my mom's, but after she passed away, we shared it half-half with my sister, though I gave my share to my sister later. We had to move to our current city due to my wife's job. A lot happened that day, but I will not give details as they were mostly personal. Next day, I started packing important things and out of a sudden, my wife became the most sexual person on the planet. She came to me with lingeries and sex toys, costumes, and approached me. I am going to be honest, I had a very hard time resisting, but rejected her advances every time. She is the woman I love and desire after all, but I don't think staying in this marriage will be healthy for either of us. I am currently staying at a hotel with my important belongings. I changed my passwords and handled other shared things. My sister will come next week to get me and I believe I'll be staying at her place in our hometown for a while, at least until beds and furnitures are delivered to the house. Some Redditors pointed out that she may be cheating on me, but she did not give me reason to be suspicious of. I trust her fully. I just wish we were more compatible in the intimacy department. She is trying to reach out to me, but I reject her calls and do not read her texts. I may need a few days of peace and silence to get myself ready for everything upcoming. Dating is not the first thing in my mind right now. I need to settle in the new house, get used to it, and I'm in the process of changing jobs after my notice. I need to handle these things to consider dating. Thank you for the advice and suggestions on the last thread. Take care. Well, OP, I have to say you are being very mature and very on point regarding everything. And it sounds like apart from the heartache, you are fully in control. So congratulations on that. On that note, here's wishing you the best in the future. Thank you for sharing, OP, and take care. Now let's move on with the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Throwaway Jills. I, 20 female, caught my boyfriend, 19 male, with my friend, 30 female. But I didn't confront them. What should I do? I have known Bella, 30 female, my entire life. I've always been a loner, and she is my only friend. More like an older sister to me. Now we are roommates. She works near my university, so I moved in with her 2 years ago. Bella introduced me to Max, 19 male, a year ago. They used to work together. I started dating Max after that, and we've been together for 7 months now. Yesterday, I was feeling nauseous, so I got home early from work. When I got home, I saw Max's shoes, which is pretty normal because they are friends and hang out a lot. Usually, they spent time in the hall watching something, but I didn't find them there, so I went to Bella's room and saw them having sex. I just didn't know what to do, so I left. They didn't see me. I left for my parents' place. It was the worst day of my life. I felt sick to my stomach and threw up 2 or 3 times. I really thought I was going to die that day. Bella texted me that evening asking if I was going to be late. I didn't reply. I just don't know how to confront them. I couldn't sleep the whole night and I don't understand why they would do this. Maybe I'm not very comfortable with the physical intimacy part right now, which is why I didn't want to do anything and Max was okay with it. If you think you are not compatible, why wouldn't you just break up? Why would you have to cheat? I am more heartbroken with Bella. I have known her my entire life and she was like a big sister to me. How cruel do you have to be to betray me like that? And if you like Max, why would you push me to pursue him in the first place? I just don't get it. This was my first relationship and it had to end like that. Sorry, I was here for advice and it turned into a rant. Aw man, OP, a rant is absolutely understandable considering what you're going through. The level of betrayal that you've suffered is just huge. Your boyfriend, your best friend / kinda like a sister, of course it sucks. But regardless of all of that, you just need to know one thing. It is not your fault. You did not cause this. You were upfront with Max from the beginning. If he's a cheating liar, that's on him, not on you. And Bella, well, she simply showed you who she really was. Somebody who doesn't respect boundaries and who doesn't really love you. And if you confront them, all they're gonna do is try to gaslight you and try to give you excuses. But the fact of the matter is, they slept together, breaking your trust. So the first thing I would do if I was in your shoes is move out of Bella's apartment. Go back to your parents for a little bit and regroup. Get yourself back together. And unless you're on the lease, you don't owe Bella or Max any kind of explanation. Just tell them that you know what they did and you don't want to talk to them anymore and move on. And what would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's check the community comments. Pretentious username 1 says, ask your parents to help you move out of Bella's apartment. Don't let them leave you alone with her. Then block her and Max on all social media and start your life over. These two were never your people. Make new friends. Create your own perfect life. That by 110 says, this was probably not the first time she has hooked up with him. I imagine they are some variation of friends with benefits, but he wanted a relationship with someone. Just text her that you got home early from work yesterday. Let her work out what happened. And First with Most says, your purpose was probably to act as a smokescreen for their friendship. Luckily, you weren't in a sexual relationship with Max, so no disease risk to worry about. It might not feel great right now, but at least you have absolute proof and won't spend years being lied to. Tell your family and friends exactly what happened and get one of them to accompany you to get your stuff back. Make sure you keep things going with your job. You don't want to lose that over a pair of two-faced losers. Don't even confront Bella and Max. Just stonewall them and leave them both guessing why you don't ever talk to them again. Make sure to block their phones and socials. Listening to lies isn't what you need right now. It's a terrible way for your first relationship to end. Try to stay positive. The problem isn't you or anything you've done. People with no integrity are everywhere. Additional information from OP's comments. I am with my parents right now. I hadn't told them at first, but now they know. They are angry with Bella. My parents always treated her like a daughter because they are friends with Bella's parents. They are gonna help me move out, and yes, I am on the lease. Max and Bella met maybe 2 to 3 months prior to us dating. She's single and divorced. She had a shotgun wedding 5 years ago and had a stillborn. After that, they got divorced. I haven't told Max or Bella anything. They texted me to know where I was. I just informed them I am at my parents' place. I just told them that I was homesick and I'll be back tomorrow. They said nothing after that. I am going to get my stuff when they are not home tomorrow. So the community was helping reassure OP that she's done nothing wrong and it's all on Max and Bella. And from OP's additional context, we get that she's done with this thing and that she's going to move out. So let's continue with the update to see how this story ends. Hello, I posted here a few days ago about my situation with my ex-boyfriend and my ex-friend. First of all, thank you to everyone who gave me advice, and thanks to the people who reached out in personal messages. I'm sorry if I didn't reply, I really didn't have the energy at the time. A day after I posted here, I went to my apartment to get my stuff back while Bella was at work. Bella called and texted while we were packing. She saw us through the Wi-Fi camera, and Max also called multiple times. I didn't pick up and just continued packing my stuff and left. My parents helped me, and I got most of my things. I forgot some items, but they're not that important. In the evening, Bella called again, and this time I picked up. She asked me what was going on and why I was moving out. I told her she knows why I was moving out. Then she started playing dumb, acting as if nothing had happened. I told her that I saw her with Max the previous day. She started crying and told me she never meant to hurt me and that it just happened and how they both fell in love. I asked how long they had been screwing each other. She said they had kissed before, but that was the first time they were having sex. Apparently, it continued for the entirety of my relationship with Max. And I don't believe it was the first time, as they used to hang out often, sometimes without me when I was at school or work. I still don't get it. If you have feelings for each other, why would you use me like that? Then I just called her some vile names and cut the call. Later, I apologized for it. I really never meant those words and wished her luck, then blocked her. I also blocked Max. The next day, both of them updated their relationship status on social media and made their relationship official. I felt sick the whole day and couldn't concentrate on work. I wasn't sad about Max one bit. I don't know why. Maybe I never loved him. Maybe I was just too afraid to be lonely. But I still can't believe Bella did this to me. She always had been my go-to person, and I tried to be the same for her. Maybe not to that degree, but it feels like a bad prank to me. She and Max tried to reach out through friends, but most of them cut them off. My mom told Bella's parents what happened, and they are also pretty angry about the situation, more because of the age difference. I am still at my parents' house. I will be moving out next week. My dad found a place and lent me some money to move out. And to the people who messaged me in personal messages saying it was my fault because I didn't have sex with Max, go F yourselves. Well, OP, I'm sorry that you're going through a tough spot realizing that your friend was actually a scumbag, but at least now you don't need to waste your time with this person ever again. Hopefully you get over her soon, OP. And Max, well, whatever, right? Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. Now, how about we finish the video with a mood booster post? This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Petite Peach Pep. I should talk to HR about leave if I'm legitimately having trouble at work 1 week before my due date? Sure thing, boss. This happened last year. I, female 31, was 1 week away from my due date and was working full-time in a school administration position. At this time, I had the capability to work from home if needed. For example, too sick to come into work, catch up on extra work, unable to secure daycare for my child, etc. When I accepted the position prior to my pregnancy, I was told by my boss, let's call her Ronnie, that it was very flexible as long as I got my hours in. I very rarely worked from home and typically only did so for an hour or two in the morning, if it was needed later on in order to work before the OBGYN appointments, as it was a long commute between work and home and the doctor office. However, I was told by Ronnie after accepting the position to try and limit work from home to 2 days a month. Which, fine, at this point I was well under since I was only working an hour or two, maybe twice a month, and only once a month before that. Being so close to my due date, I was experiencing physical hardships that made working on site more and more difficult, such as dizzy spells and pulled tendon on my foot and severe back pain. I was also scared of potentially going into labor while at work, with it being so far away from the hospital my OBGYN delivers at. To top it all off, my coworkers started asking more invasive questions about my pregnancy that made me uncomfortable. All in all, it was not a fun time. I explained all of this in an email to Ronnie and asked for her permission to almost exclusively work from home up until I go into labor. I said I thought it would be a reasonable accommodation and I work really well from home. Ronnie responded a couple of days later denying my request to work from home at all and said I needed to be there since we would be starting some of our busiest work in a couple of months. Which I would be gone for on maternity leave anyways, so I'm not sure why she brought it up. Ronnie said I could talk to HR about leave options if I'm truly having trouble working. By the way, it is illegal in my state to require an employee to take leave if there is a reasonable accommodation that can be made instead. Cue malicious compliance. I immediately went to HR and did just that. We talked about options and found out I could start my leave the very next day and still be paid state mandatory leave pay for the extra time. I informed Ronnie that I would be out starting the next day as I needed to take care of myself. She said, I understand you need to do what's best for you, but you need to understand that I need to do what's best for the team. So yeah, everything I normally managed basically went to crap in my absence, as the other people on the team weren't qualified to do the work and kept taking time off leading up to my due date instead of learning the basics while I was still there to teach them. I left detailed procedure notes and workflow lists, but I later found out Ronnie had to pick up all the extra work and a lot of it never got done since she didn't have time. But it was best for the team, right boss? Well, OP, she told you if you needed to do anything to talk to HR, and that's exactly what you did, and it got the time that you needed. Good for you, OP. I guess it was the best thing for the team, you being basically the team. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.